Hello everyone, and welcome to Retro Brick Reviews, where today I will be doing my analysis video on the recently revealed LEGO Star Wars Master Builder series, set number 75222, Betrayal at Cloud City. This set comes with 2,812 pieces, 20 minifigures, and it retails for around $350 in the United States, where it will release for VIPs on September 13th, 2018, with a wide release on October 1st. And yeah, you can see that this set, much like the Death Star, went for the very open dollhouse design. And personally, I feel as though the dollhouse design doesn't work as well here as it does on the Death Star, but I'll get into that later, more towards the end of the video. But first, let's focus on some of the smaller details we get here, starting with the carbon freezing chamber, which is probably one of the best looking parts of the entire set. I mean, this looks so much better than the full-on $30 carbon freezing chamber set we got a couple of years ago. I mean, there are barely any gaps, the shaping is right, the size is about right, and it looks like there's a pretty good carbonite mechanism to switch between Han and the carbonite block. I mean, I have no idea how that works, but it looks interesting, and I'm excited to see how it works. You also have some nice detailing on the bottom end. Yeah, nice section. Another one of my favorite parts of the build is the final section of the Luke Vader duel. Basically, this entire quadrant is really good because I also really like how the stairs are done for the carbon chamber. But moving over into this section, I am a bit disappointed that we do only get this last little section for the final duel. I honestly feel as though they probably could have dedicated an entire quadrant just to it, but oh well. But I mean, we do get the little doorway from the weather vane, although it is a bit odd how we don't get really anything besides that to represent the huge weather vane the end of the battle took place on, so that's a bit awkward. But I mean, the very end of the platform that we have Luke and Vader at, that does look very good, very detailed. I really do like that. So, yeah. I mean, like, that's good. The carbon chamber is good. It's just the lack of any real design for the weather vane, and the fact that the door is just so two-dimensional. It just looks like that whole assembly looks weird to me. I honestly kind of wish they hadn't included that little section, because it just looks weird to have a door going into nothingness. It's just awkward to me, but oh well. Still a nice looking section overall. Moving along, to the front right quadrant. First off, we have this room. It's just a little walkway. You can see some sticker details on the walls, as well as what looks like a sliding door. You can also see that there's sort of a little conical light section in there. It almost looks like there might be a trans blue nano figure or hologram figure in there, although that's probably just a couple of cones or something like that. But it looks pretty good. I like the design of that, and I like the stickers on the walls. The other room we have a really good close-up on in this quadrant is the dining room, where we have some nice stuff on the walls. We have the table, we have, of course, Vader, and we have, well, 4 chairs as well as one for Vader, so that makes 5. Which is alright. I think maybe there should have been 6 chairs and Vader's. I mean, like, that still wouldn't be accurate, but I don't know, 4 seems a bit few, but it's alright, and I do like the tan walls and the circular windows. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Taking a look at this quadrant as a whole, you can see that there are a couple of other rooms as well. You have sort of the room Han and Leia were staying in with the interesting table design and 2 seats, as well as the room where C-3PO discovered a sinister plot and then got shot. And yeah, you can see the little levers that'll operate the doors. I like the stickers on the walls, but I feel as though, like, the exterior walls for the dining room don't look too good, like how they're showing the insides of those, like, Hogwarts wall pieces, as well as the fact that one of the windows hangs over the edge. That could look better, but, I mean, it's alright, I guess. Also, from this angle, you can see that there are some nice, sort of, curved stairs in just the hallway room, so that's nice. So, yeah, it's alright, yeah. Next quadrant, we don't have any close-ups on this one, but you can see on the left we have sort of the scrap room with a deactivated IG-88, as well as C-3PO on a conveyor belt about to get put into a furnace. I don't know why he's all in one piece here. At the very least, he should be disassembled into the 3 basic minifigure components, but oh well. And then we have Chewie in here, who I don't know why he seems to have his hands up like he's fretting. I mean, C-3PO's all in one piece, and there aren't any Ugnaughts trying to toss him into the fire, so I don't see what the big deal is. Yeah, it looks like the furnace might be able to close the cover, but not sure about that. It seems like there's another sliding door. Then you have this sort of large open area that looks like there might be like a trap door there, maybe? Like a hidden area? I don't know. But then you have the red hallway outside the interrogation room, as well as the interrogation room itself, and a little holding cell off to the side. And, yeah, it looks nice. I think in the large open gray area you might be able to park the cloud car, but I'm not too sure. And then you also have the large walkway, not walkway, the landing pad that we have for the Slave 1, which is included as well. So that's pretty nice. So, yeah, I feel as though... just talk about it now. I feel as though the 4 sections look alright. They have some issues, but they work well enough. But I feel as though the overall shaping of the build doesn't work out too well. Because, I mean, it's sort of this large open, like the sort of dish, but not entirely. Like both the landing pad and the final duel section hang over the edge. There are a couple other parts that hang over the edge as well, like that window. And yeah, also, like Cloud City, it's this dish shape, but then there's also it all sort of goes down to that very thin needle at the bottom, and that is not represented here at all. You just have the dish, which in my opinion really doesn't do much to look like Cloud City. So personally, I think this build would have looked much better if it had just been done like the old one. Like, I think we either should have got... If LEGO wanted to do, like, a dish-shaped Cloud City, they should have done something similar to the UCS Falcon, where we just have a detailed, accurate model of Cloud City with removable panels to have some interior. But personally, LEGO would never do that, and I wouldn't want that. So I think they should have just done, like, a very updated version of what we got with the old Cloud City, because this build, like, it looks nice, there are some nice parts, but overall, not too impressive. It's a tabletop model, but unlike the Death Star, this isn't very recognizable. Like, the Death Star is hollow, sure, but someone walks into my room, they're like, oh, is that the Death Star? Neat. Someone will see this, and they're like, oh, it's a dish. Is that a stormtrooper? Oh shoot, is this something from Star Wars? Is this the no, it's not the Millennium Falcon. It's what is that? Is that Lando? Is this Cloud City maybe? Is this Cloud? I mean, like, it's just not. It doesn't. I don't think they should have done the dish design here. It just doesn't work in my opinion. But yeah, one last thing to mention, just looking back through all of this, is that you do have a little micro scale build for like the actual city on the very top. like that center dish, and I really do like that. There are some nice details there, like you have a couple of upside down ice cream cones, as well as a plain gray microphone piece, and that's pretty good. But yeah, overall, the main build we have here for Cloud City, it's, again, I've said it 100 times at this point, it's alright. There is a lot of good stuff here. It's just that the layout and the shaping and just the idea of having the dish Cloud City, I don't get it. I don't really understand what LEGO was going for with this, or, well, let me rephrase that. I do get what they were going for. I don't understand why it's what they were going for. But, yeah, I guess we can't change it, and I mean, hey, it might be another 15 years before LEGO does another Cloud City, and there's a lot of nice stuff here. I've said that way too many times, but this is good. It could be so much better, and I guess that's where I'll leave it for the main build. But there isn't the main build, and in fact, this next build is actually my favorite thing in the entire set. It's this little mini-sized Slave 1, and this looks beautiful. I mean, I honestly think this has better shaping than the most recent minifig scale Slave 1, play scale. So the, what was it, 2010? I think it was 2010, the one with Bosk that introduced the carbonite mold. Yeah, that. Anyway, this looks so good. Like, I mean, sure, the red plating around on sort of the base or the back, depending on on whether it's in landed position or flight. That is cut out a bit, and that's the only issue, really, and I don't mind too much. This looks really good. I really love the shaping at the front. It has a couple of stud shooters, which are perfectly acceptable, in my opinion. I don't mind, because they're not obtrusive. You have enough room to fit Boba in the cockpit. Obviously, it's not gyroscopic, but that's perfectly fine, in my opinion. Yeah. It looks pretty nice, and that's all I have to say. It's a very well done sort of mini Slave 1. I would honestly love to see more LEGO Star Wars vehicles tackled in this size. Unfortunately, we do only get them when LEGO makes them with these huge UCS sets, although this isn't officially a UCS set, but sort of like how we got the TIE Advanced with the Death Star, this is like that. And I really do like this aesthetic. It's a good size. It looks great. It has some nice playability. It's good. I like it. Something else I like is the other ship we get in this set, the Twin Pod Cloud Car. And yeah, first things first, it's not entirely accurate because it's red. I don't know why it's red. In the movies, these are orange, and I mean, I know, well, I lied. I know why it's red. It's because LEGO doesn't have most of these parts in their dark orange color. They would have to recolor way too many parts in dark orange to make this accurate, so they just made it red. And I guess it's alright. They are pretty reddish, but I mean, yeah, it has good shaping. It can fit 2 minifigs, which is nice. I don't know if the stud shooters fit here. I mean, again, it's another pretty good ship build. Honestly, again, I like it more than the main build. Not as good as the Slave 1, but it's alright. It's pretty good. I like that you can fit a figure in each pod. I like the stickers on top of the cockpits. Stickers aren't usually something I comment on, but these are pretty good. Yeah. Like the shaping around the sides. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But anyway, just like with the Death Star, doesn't matter the builds, because while they are important, with me, going back to the Death Star, which I got back in 2013, the main draw for that set was the sheer amount of minifigures included, or rather, important minifigures included. And that's the same deal here. So even if the build was really good or really bad, it's just kind of mediocre in my opinion, the minifigures are what have to pull this through, and do they? Well, let's find out. The first figure here is really good. It is Bespin Luke Skywalker. We haven't gotten one of these since the old Cloud City 15 years ago, so pretty nice figure. He has the new Luke hair in dark tan, which is much more accurate than the light tan we've been getting since 2011, I think. Yeah. The torso and leg printing is very well done, and the face print is pretty good as well. He looks pretty determined, which I think works well here. He does get his blue lightsaber, of course, but my favorite part of this figure is the alternate face, where he has been beaten by Vader, he has a black eye, he has a couple scars, and yeah, he's very, I don't know what the word is, traumatized, maybe, by the news that Darth Vader is his father, and yeah, this is a very good figure. Not as good as the next figure, who is easily the best in the set. It's Han Solo. What's so special about this figure? I mean, the torso print is just a reprint from the UCS Falcon, but look at those legs. I might be wrong, but I believe that this is the first LEGO Star Wars minifigure to ever have double-molded legs. And it's beautiful. Not to mention, he also has side leg printing, which I also can't think of any other Star Wars minifigures that have it, although there's probably been one or two with side leg printing. I just can't think of them. But yeah, this looks really good. He has his boots, he has the Corellian stripe. I mean, other than that, he's not too interesting. I mean, the torso print is just a reprint from the UCS Falcon, which I can't imagine how annoyed people who got the UCS Falcon are starting to get that slowly but surely all of the parts special to that set are being parted out into other sets. Wonder how long it'll be before LEGO finds a way to put the special masked oxygen mask faces into another set. But anyway, I mean, Han's hair is good, face is pretty good, torso's good, although a reprint, legs are amazing. All great figure. He gets a standard alternate face. Yeah, pretty good. Second Han Solo is inconsistent because why does this one get dual-molded boots? This one doesn't. Not entirely sure here. And I mean, this guy, he looks alright though, don't get me wrong. Like, the face print is good. Torso print is very simple, but it's alright, but no leg printing. Kinda wish we'd gotten some leg printing here. I mean, $350 for 2,800 pieces and all. The minifigures should be worth at least $70 if you want me to think this is worth it, LEGO. But yeah, would have been nice to get some leg printing, maybe a new face print or something, I don't know, but it's alright. I don't like the alternate carbonite face because why does he need this face for when he's taken out of carbonite? Or, well, he isn't being taken out of carbonite here, it's just being put into carbonite, so I don't know, I feel as though maybe on this side, instead of giving us this face that you're never going to see in normal play, maybe they should have given us, I don't know, another face? I mean, I can't think of one on the spot, but I don't like how this looks. And again, it seems a bit lazy to just give us a reprint. But believe me, this isn't the only time in this set. Yeah, also, just side note, I think it's really lazy that LEGO didn't do a remold for the carbonite piece, so Han still has the old classic hairpiece, which just isn't accurate anymore. Han got the new hairpiece in 2016. It's been 2 years. We need a new carbonite piece, LEGO. But anyway, yeah. Oh, speaking of reprints, here we have the same exact Leia from the Hoth Medical Chamber, who in itself was just the same exact Leia from the UCS Falcon, just with the Shuttle Tidarium face. And I mean, it's an alright figure. It goes with Han, although I kind of would have preferred to get her in, like, the prisoner outfit, because, like, Han in his Hoth outfit, I think, works well here, since that is what he wore until on Cloud City, until they were captured by the Empire, but, Leia wore the Cloud City dress that we'll see in a minute, and Han's other costume is for the Carbonite scene, when he gets frozen, and during that scene, Leia's costume was her sort of plain white prison outfit, so I think she should have gotten that instead. I mean, that would have been a nice new variant. But this is alright, I guess. just as a reprint, it works well enough. You could trick me into thinking it is that version, and I mean, I guess this version could be for when they first land. I don't know. Just bugs me a little. Also, like, if this is supposed to represent Prisoner Leia, because, like, in the Carbonite scene on the box, they show this being used for that scene, maybe they could have given her an alternate face, like, yeah, this one has, like, an angry alternate expression, but, like, shouldn't she have, like, a sad one? Maybe a couple of tears? I don't know. For when Han's getting frozen in Carbonite? I don't know, but I kind of would have liked to get a different face print. And this issue is only accentuated by the fact that the set includes a second Leia, who has the exact same face print, although here the expressions work a bit better, I think. I mean, I still don't really like it, as this face doesn't look very much like Carrie Fisher at all, but it's alright. And the torso and legs are very well done, or, well, torso and dress, I guess. I mean, there's some great detail, some nice coloring, it's good. What isn't good is the hairpiece, which is not accurate at all. But yeah, same face print. I mean, it's alright. I mean, I guess it's not too noticeable if you have, like, this face on the smiling face and the other one on the angry expression, but would have liked to get a new face for the other one. Would have liked to get a better hairpiece for this one. I think the Last Jedi Rey hairpiece would have worked pretty well here, or at least a lot better than this hairpiece, but oh well. So yeah, another pretty nice figure. You know who isn't a pretty nice figure? Chewbacca. The same horrible, inaccurate Chewie we've been getting since 2014. The head's way too thin, the body is way too dark, the highlight is way too light. This figure is just... Oh, also, the mouth is open for some reason, which just doesn't look good. I despise this newer design for Chewbacca. I just feel as though the original is so much better. And I mean, like, honestly, if they just took the original version and printed on eyes, and maybe the highlight color, if the highlight was, like, dark orange, so it's very similar... I don't know, I just hate this Chewbacca. It's just not good. And hey, LEGO could have done something at least nice with this horrible design by giving him, like, a design on the back for the net, like doing a new mold, old since the set doesn't have any, to give him a net on the back to hold C-3PO, but nope. That was a bit too difficult, I guess, so we can't reenact any of those scenes from, you know, the entire escape from Bespin and the carbon freezing scene. We can't have any of that accurate now. Oh, speaking of inaccurate, here we have 3PO, who, first off, again, he should have been in, like, a net to be on Chewie's back, but if they're not going to do that, they could have at least given him a double-molded leg to finally give us a 3PO with a silver leg. I mean, why are Han and Leia, and, well, one other figure, why are they, like, the only ones that LEGO put a ton of effort into, and most of the figures are just reprints of figures that really need updates? I mean, in general, that's what annoys me about not just this set, but LEGO Star Wars as a whole. The sets are sold at a premium, way more expensive than any other theme, but the minifigures and designs are just not as well done or thought out as what you would get from anything else. Like, think about it. This set is $350 for $1, and most of the figures just have torso printing front and back, maybe a double-sided face, and the occasional spot of front leg printing. As opposed to the Harry Potter sets, where in much cheaper sets, you could get stuff like new molds, double faces, arm printing, leg printing. There's some double molding. I mean, like, and I mean, it's in every theme. Like, Harry Potter is just the best example, but, like, Star Wars sets, like, aside from Rebel helmets and, like, the new alien molds, the average minifigure is pretty lazily done. and that annoys me. And again, just with 3PO, would it be that hard to just give us one double molded leg? No, not even two, just one. I just want one. Maybe if they couldn't do that, maybe they could have, like, given us, like, a variant 3PO, like, give him, like, I don't know, I've said like 10,000 times, give him a blaster mark on his chest where he gets shot, maybe include an alternate head where he just has no printing for the eyes for, when he's offline after he gets shot. I don't know, this figure just seems pretty lazy. You know who else seems pretty lazy? R2-D2, but there isn't much you can do with R2-D2, so he gets a pass. Not like there are any, I can't think of anything to do here involving R2, so yeah. It makes sense for him to be a reprint. Doesn't make sense for Hoth Leia to be a reprint. Doesn't make sense for Chewie to be a reprint. Doesn't make sense for 3PO to be a reprint. For Cloud City, none of them, but R2 makes sense, so he gets a pass. Next up is honestly a pretty nice figure, though. Like, I've been negative about the last several, but this is pretty nice. It's the new Lando. The new torso print is pretty well done. Honestly, I kind of prefer the 2003 torso, but this is pretty good. Slight differences. I just don't like how the collar is I don't like how the collar is done on this one. But the cape is great. It's double-sided, and the inside has some great printing. This side of Lando's face is pretty great for Billy D. Williams. This side is way too cartoony, though. Like, I get what they were going for, but like, for Cloud City, the set is literally called Betrayal or Betrayal on Cloud City. Blech. So I feel as though maybe they should have given him maybe a bit less happy face for, when we're getting that whole betrayal thing. When they arrived right before you did, I'm sorry. Maybe something like that instead of this. I don't know. Just a thought. Like, and also the carbon freezing chamber. It's a bit annoying that we only have two smiling faces for Lando, but it's still a good figure, one of the best in the set. Just a little nitpick. Next figure is Lobot, who honestly looks really good. I don't have a good picture of it, but I believe the printing on his head wraps all the way around from the sides to the back, so that's great. I think the face printing works pretty well for the actor who played him. The torso is simple but good, and yeah, I like Lobot. Next up, we have a Bespin security guard. Nothing new here. This figure is pretty much exactly the same one that came in the UCS Slave 1, just the Resistance Trooper face instead of the Agent Coulson one. But yeah, standard blue Imperial cap, Resistance Trooper face, torso print we've gotten a couple times before. Yeah. Oh hey, we get two! This guy has a mustache. Moving on to a much more interesting figure, we have the Bespin Cloud Car Pilot. And this guy's pretty nice. The helmet... Wait, is the helmet a new mold? I've been complaining this whole time about not getting any new molds, but is this a new mold? It looks kind of similar to a helmet we got in the Rogue One set. It might be a new mold, though. If it is, good job, LEGO, although I don't think these guys were even in the movie. Like, I don't think I've ever seen one of these outside of, like, toy cloud cars and action figures and stuff. But, it's still a nice figure, just a bit unnecessary, maybe. And if it's a new mold, then that's pretty cool, but also if it's a new mold, I'm a bit annoyed that they made a new mold for the Cloud Car Pilot and not for something like giving Chewie a net to hold C-3PO in, or a more accurate carbonite piece. But anyway, yeah, nice printing on that. The face print's good, nice design for the visor. Although if this helmet is a new mold, I do have to question why they didn't do it double molded to make the visor transparent, because that's just something LEGO seems to be doing now. Kind of inconsistent with, like, the new X-Wing helmets and the Resistance helmets, but oh well. But then the torso print is nice. And hey, we get two of these. And honestly, this one might just be the same exact figure, just with an alternate face, and this is just the other expression, but we do get 2 of these, identical or not. And yeah, this guy's also pretty cool. You know who we don't get 2 of? Ugnaught. Yeah, the set only comes with 1 Ugnaught. How are you supposed to have the Ugnaughts playing keep away with 3PO's head if there's only 1 Ugnaught? I don't know. Kind of wish that we would have gotten a second one, and this guy seems pretty depressed about it too. I mean, look at his face. This guy does not want to be here. But yeah, I mean, the torso is very simple, though. That head, he looks so sad. It's kind of funny, although, seriously, we should have gotten 2 Ugnaughts. And by the way, going continuously back to the figure, I think that's a new head print. I think it's different than the one in the carbon freezing set, although, like Lego, why didn't you just include a reprint from the carbon freezing chamber? Like, we could have gotten this and that. That would have been a reprint that made sense. And Chewie didn't, Leia didn't, but this would have been one that made sense, and you didn't do it. That's kind of annoying. But anyway, moving on to antagonists, here we have a reprint Darth Vader. A character who totally can be a reprint, because there is nothing new to do here. I mean, yeah, pretty nice figure. Hope he has a new face print, because the last few haven't really been doing it for me, but yeah, not much to say. Next figure is Boba Fett from the UCS Slave 1, and well, yeah, he's just the Boba Fett from the UCS Slave 1. He has arm printing, so that's great, but we already have a Boba Fett with arm printing. 2, actually, since there's the original Cloud City Boba Fett, so yeah, this guy exists, but he's just another reprint. A very hard-to-find and valuable reprint, but still a reprint. So yeah, good figure, just nothing new. Then we get 2 Imperial Stormtroopers, who are in fact 2 Imperial Stormtroopers. And then we get IG-88, who was, if you don't know, deactivated in the Ugnaught incinerator room. IG-88 was deactivated in the background. I think there's like a comic book about how Boba Fett destroyed IG-88 at Cloud City and then put him there or something. I don't know. But I think there might be a comic about that. But anyway, he was there in the movie. Yeah, just another reprint IG-88. So that is everything in this massive $350 Lego set. So now the question falls, do I think this set is worth it for $350? And, well, maybe it'll help if I compare. This dish with a bunch of stuff on it is $350. And this giant Death Star is $400. That dish was $350, and this massive castle is $400. So, would I recommend that you spend $350 on Betrayal at Cloud City? No. I mean, you may have noticed that I've been pretty negative here, but I have to be, because this is a very disappointing set in my opinion. I mean, the 2 ships are great, a couple of the minifigures are great, but that doesn't change the fact that, I mean, the build is just poorly thought out. Like, Lego, seriously, if you're going to get... I kind of like the idea, like, just at its inception, doing this like the Death Star, where the model is shaped like Cloud City, just open. It's not at all a bad idea. But the reason the Death Star worked is because, like, I'm just looking at it right now. First off, it has a much more recognizable shape. I mean, it's a ball with a laser, and this is just a dish. Secondly, it was complete, which is by far the most important thing here. Like, that was a full ball, a full Death Star, just missing the plating. But this, you're missing everything below, sort of, I guess, the point? Or I guess the ridge, whatever you would call it. Like, you don't get any of that downward spire. Not to mention that, like, the ridge isn't even flat. The thing isn't even really all too circular here. Oh, also, just another quick thing, I think the Death Star did a much better job at keeping its shape by, like, the floors sort of dictate the thickness of the ball at any given point. This only has one floor, so I kind of get it, but I think maybe they could have just had, like, a Technic rim going around sort of up top, like at the end of the wedged pieces the wedge plates that connect to the large bricks. Let me just zoom in. Like here, like at the cheese slope and the grape piece. If like maybe like from there to the one over here, they could have just had like a little a curved Technic section to just sort of create some shaping. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know, but this just doesn't get across the look of Cloud City to me, and I think that as a build, this is kind of a failure. But the ships are great, and a couple of the figures are great, but then so many of the figures are just reprints, and while yes, some of them do make sense, like Vader and the Stormtroopers, some of them really don't. Like, why don't we get a new Carbonite piece? Why does one Han get double-molded legs and the other doesn't? Why do we have Hoth Leia instead of Prisoner Leia? Why don't we have a new Chewie with the bag piece? And like honestly, I could be saying that we should get a new Chewie that's actually looks good, but I'm not even gonna. I just kind of would have liked to get one specifically for this scene. Why can't we get a 3PO that has a dual molded leg? Or heck, here's an idea I just came up with. Instead of having Chewie with the bag, why not just have Chewie with like a jumper or something, like just a couple of extra studs on his back, still a new mold, but then 3PO could just have the net printed on his torso. I don't know. Like, heck, maybe, like, honestly, if you just done a version of 3PO just with a net print on his torso and not connected to Chewie at all, like, I would still be annoyed, but not nearly as annoyed as I am here with just nothing. So, yeah, I gotta say, like, this set is alright, and I imagine that, like, this will give some kids happiness. If kids get this $350 playset, they will enjoy it. And I got the Death Star when I was younger, and I thoroughly enjoyed it back then, and now I still enjoy it. And that's the main difference between the two. Because outside of being a playset, the Death Star is still displayable. It looks big, it looks impressive, and from the main displayable side, you get a lot of stuff. I mean, just looking at it right now, you can see the turbo laser, you have the conference room, you have the detention block, you have the trash compactor. You have a lot of great stuff just looking at it head on, and you can instantly tell it's the Death Star, and it's a very good-looking model. This is a dish with stuff. Well, we have the carbon freezing chamber, and we have the final duel, and then we have some other stuff like the rooms on this side, and like, again, really, this set does have a lot of great stuff. It's just how it's laid out, it just isn't good, and the figures, for the most part, just aren't good. So yeah, am I picking this one up? No. Do I have any... Would I recommend you pick it up? No, not really. Like, if you like it, then get it. I'm sorry I have to be so negative on this one. It's just that I've been waiting for a new LEGO Cloud City literally for years. Since I got back into LEGO and I heard about the old Cloud City and it just looked like such a cool set. I've always wanted a new one. But this is what it is. And this is just not good. So yeah, sorry this got so negative. I was really hoping for better. Let's hope that maybe since now LEGO has this new Master Builder series for basically giant playsets like this, maybe this line will lead to something great. Maybe it won't. Let's be real, it probably won't. It'll probably lead to more stuff like this. So yeah, Oh, also, seriously, this set's price tag is ridiculous. I haven't really talked about it much, but $350 for this is absolutely insane. I mean, first off, price to part ratio is 2,812, but are you kidding me? This is a bit bigger than the main floor of the Death Star. A bit bigger. But because of all the empty space in the Final Duel and Carbon Freezing section, and because if you have the Slave 1 landed, you can't put any figures in the landing pad section, aside from Boba Fett, I guess. And if you have the Cloud Car landed, then you can't put anyone in the big open space in the back left section, then really when you think about it, this has a lot less space to put minifigures than the main floor of the Death Star. A set that had 3 other floors, I may add. And I mean, yeah, even going with the new Death Star being $500, it's still not a good bargain here. And really, like, if this set was $300, it still wouldn't be great, but I could recommend it if you really liked it. If it was $250, it would honestly be a pretty good deal, even with all the issues I've presented. If this was any other theme that wasn't Star Wars, this set would be $200, and I might honestly get it. But no, the set is $350, which is insulting. So I'm not getting this set at all, and if you like it, I would not get it until there's a price drop, if there is one, because, well, if you look at this and see $350 of value, that's great. But I just can't. So yeah, I've been talking for way too long. I don't know how long I've been talking. I just know it's been for a really long time. So I'm gonna stop.